Coach, thanks for being here today. Appreciate it. Let's go back to the Kutztown game. They have a 17-play drive, take a 32-29 lead, 24 seconds left. At that point, what do you tell your team?
Well, you lie a lot at that point. Now, one of the things that we've been talking about is as long as there's time on the clock, you got a chance. That's why it's 60 minutes long. It's not 59 minutes and 40 seconds, So, we talked about it. We've been here before. We had time. We did not need a touchdown. We needed a field goal. And, as I explained to him, I said, we need to get to the 25 on the far end. So we needed 50 yards to be able to really to give us a chance at, I thought, at a game-tying field goal.
You do tie it up. You come back from a 25-9 deficit. I mean, talk about the resiliency of this team to just fight back and no quit.
First of all, let's go back to the game-tying field goals attempts. That's the first time I've ever seen that. I think a lot of people, first time they've ever seen it, how crazy that was. But the end of that was just kind of a microcosm of what had happened from being down 25-9. And we talked about it at halftime. There's 60 minutes, keep playing. I think that's the biggest issue. We told guys, trust each other, do the things that you've been coached to do from day one in camp, and for many of the veterans all the way back for as long as they've been here. Just stay together, do your job. We're more than capable of scoring points. We're more than capable of stopping people and creating turnovers and those things. We just said, just stay with it. Just stay with it. It'll happen.
And going to the field goal, you have Phil Esposito, freshman kicker. That was your first 40-yard field goal since October 3rd, 2010 that you guys made. Freshman kicker, talk about, baptism by fire. How about his composure in that situation?
That's awesome. And, I was actually thinking on the field, thank God he got another opportunity because, you go back and he had the first one blocked, then he had the second one blocked. I was just happy for him that he had an opportunity to kick the third. At that point now, I think sometimes when you fail twice, it's like you just realize I just got to kick the ball. So he's hit 50-yarders with extra in practice. He's got a great leg I think it's just relaxing and allowing his own ability to take over, and great for him. And then to have the opportunity to come back and kick the winning extra points, even cooler, So I know one thing: if you're a freshman in the first ball game, you kick the game tying and the game winning extra point. It's got to be a pretty cool feeling. So good for him. Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping for many more from him.
Ben Fiskus made a spectacular throw on that drive to Mark Nicholas to help set up that game-tying field goal. Another great game, PSAC co-offensive player of the week. Are you even surprised by his improvement since his sophomore year?
Yes and no. When Ben got here, throwing was not his forte. I would still not call it his forte. Ben's an option quarterback. His danger is honestly, he's got the longest run from scrimmage in school history. He went 88 yards last year, and then the week after that went like 84. He is the most dangerous threat that we have in the backfield on offense. So we always have to use that. But I guess the ability we have to throw the ball now, Ben. That change has been dramatic. I would not say surprising because Ben works his tail off at that stuff, but it's been dramatic. He can now beat you either way, and he's proven that a few times, over the course of his career that if you make him throw, he's more than capable of doing it.
Now defensively, this front four with Hauser and Bostic, I know got hurt, but Fergali, he had 2 sacks. Is that front four that good?
Yeah, I think so. I've been very fortunate over the years to coach some great defensive groups and defensive linemen and groups in general. And this D line is very talented. Can I put them in that category? Not until they do it for 11 ball games, but they're more than capable. You said it, and then you forget about Jake Heinz and Matt Shuey, and Matt Corper played a bunch last week, as did Bobby Steinstraw, and these guys can get at it. I'm really excited to see how the rest of the season plays out. They've just got, it's consistency. It's, you can't show up one week and then not show up the next. We're going to rely on them to be one of the best defensive fronts in the conference. That'll take a lot of pressure off of our secondary.
And that's got to be a good feeling to be able to rush forward, drop 7, and still get consistent pressure.
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's great to be able to put yourself in spots and know that if the quarterback can't sit there and go through his progressions, because somebody's eventually going to be open. You can't cover the whole field. And, you know, the secondary knows if they take away the first couple of reads, the D-line will be there. You know, the only thing we have to worry about after that is, okay, quarterback scrambling, and now we're in a scramble drill. But, yeah, it's so comforting to know that you can rush 4, and on Saturday we rushed 3 a bunch of times and still got there, and so that's huge. It's a huge confidence builder for everybody else.
Definitely. Now, talk about the atmosphere at Memorial Stadium. It was family day. The place was packed. You know, when you guys win the game and come off the field, everyone's standing ovation, clapping. Right. That's got to be just an amazing feeling.
Well, you know, and I know this sounds crazy. My wife has asked me this. I don't know if I've ever heard a crowd in the years that I've been coaching, and I think during the game you don't hear it unless you stop and turn around. But I did. I know my wife and family came running out on the field, and I did look at the end of the game and see the crowd was still there and still getting after it. And that's great to see. It's great to see excitement at the stadium. You know, honestly, with the last couple of years, we haven't given a lot of people, you know, a lot of things to be excited about. Hopefully this is just scratching the surface of where we can go for the rest of the year.
Yeah. We actually are on our TV. We got a shot of you like just celebrating after the game, so I'm gonna have to show you that.
Well, you know, at the very end of the game when we kicked the extra point, I did a little hop, skip, and a jump, and then I realized you got to have a little bit of class and go over and shake the opponent's, you know, head coach's hands. And I've known Coach Fulmar for a long time, and he's a quality man. And that was a quality football team. You know, that was a heartbreaking loss for them. But it still doesn't take the emotion away. It's still a blast to win something like that. And I don't care if it's the first game of the season or if it's a playoff game. When you win something that dramatically, and with the ups and downs, that in the last 5 minutes, I told the team, I said, I think we were up, then we were down, then we were up again, then we were down again, then we were up again. And, you know what I mean? It was like we were like this. And I think everybody in the stands felt the same way. For 5 minutes, did you stand up? Did you sit down? Are we crying? Are we laughing? What are we doing here? And so it was, you know, when that happens, all the emotions come out. So it was a lot of fun. The kids had a lot of fun. I know I did.
Now, one of the downsides, though, Peter Rivera was ejected in the second half for the NCAA's new targeting rule, right. And he's out the first half of the Lock Haven game right. as well. Now, the NCAA, their rule was they have replay as a fallback, but obviously D2 not really going to get that. Is that frustrating? What do you tell your guys about that rule?
It's very frustrating. You know, I understand the rule. You know, when I played, I don't want to say there were no rules. I mean, pretty much anything went. And they're trying to protect people, which I understand completely. I thought what was missed in that play in particular was any kind of intent. You know, the way they describe targeting is targeting a guy from the shoulder pads up. But I got that as targeting with my shoulder pads and my helmet. And you know, Peter was jumping for the football. We've appealed it. I mean, you can appeal, and I don't mean to jump ahead a little bit, but you can appeal that. The NCAA has an officials committee that you can appeal those to. The way the rule reads, if it happens in the second half, which it did for Pete, you can appeal it to the national level. If they don't overturn it on the field with an instant replay, which the Division I's have, you can still appeal it to a national level. And if the national level feels that it's unwarranted, the next half he gets back. We're concerned in the PSAC because it's the next game. Regardless of when it happens, it's the entire next game. So, you know, there's a potential of losing Pete for all next week. And we've sent it in, you know. They'll make a determination on whether it's irrefutable evidence. It's the same idea. It has to be, you have to be able to overturn it, not question it. You have to be able to overturn it. And I think they will. I mean, I think when they see that Pete was not trying to tackle, you know, hit the ball carrier, he was going for the football. And when he realized it's really high, I mean, the guy basically ran underneath him. So we'll see. It's out of our hands. We'll find out Tuesday afternoon, and Whatever they tell us we got to do, we got to live with it.
Okay, and just one last question for you, Coach. Looking ahead to this upcoming week against Lock Haven. Now, this isn't the Lock Haven of old. They're on a 2-game winning streak right now,
exactly right.
winning last year and winning against West Virginia State on Saturday. So, I mean, just what is your approach to that game? Knowing this is not a gimme win anymore.
People have to remember, and we talked about it last night in our team meeting with the team, that they thought they should have beat us last year. We get on the field in 1:20. Ben pulls another miracle drive off, and we score with no time on the clock, the winning touchdown. So they think they should have broken their streak against us last year. So we're going to have a team coming in that doesn't worry about Clarion, and I don't worry about the 50 whatever it was prior to. I worry about the last 2, which they've won, and it is a different football team. Coach Allen's got that football team playing hard, playing well. They're disciplined, much better athletes than they've had in the past. We're going to have our hands full, and the players know it. We've talked about it. I mean, all we can do is continue to stress that this is not Lock Haven of old. If it wasn't proven to us last year, it should be proven by the last 2 ball games that they've played and won. And I will be a little tense this week, and probably a little intense on Saturday. So my goal throughout the week will be make sure that we don't relax and let down, that we're preparing for a well-coached football team to come in here next Saturday.